Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be discussing what I learned and why I was shocked when I started to speak with business development reps from home service companies across the U.S. Hi, my name is Raleigh from PMHOA.pro. We help home service companies build profitable and long-term relationships with property management companies and HOAs. More information in the description below. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience in calling and meeting business development reps from home service companies. First of all, what is a business development rep? Well, they are a very, very important role for many home service companies. Now, I will say this right up front. They're not hired at every company. In fact, in my experience, it's only the more established companies that have these people hired. Usually the smaller guys don't really have this person. Well, what is it that they do? Well, their role is to reach out into the community, locally and nationally, and find business relationships that they can nurture. Typically, 90% of the time, it's property management companies, HOAs. It might be other types of businesses, commercial contacts they can make retail developers, something like that. Developers, restaurant owners, or franchise owners, something like that. Or another big common one is senior facilities, right? Something in that space. So this person goes out into the community and tries to establish relationships with these people, pitch the service, pitch the product line by that vendor, and that's what they do. Now, here's what happened to me. This is actually kind of interesting. So what happened to me is that as I was reaching out to, at the time I was reaching out to roofers, I started to, it was actually an objection really. I would get the owner on the phone and the owner would say, hey Raleigh, I like what you're saying. Just talk to my business development rep. And if he likes it, she likes it, I'll jump on too. I don't have time to do a presentation because at the time I was pitching my presentation. I wanted to share what we do. And they put me in touch with their business development rep. Now, at the time I was so new to reaching out to these companies, I really didn't know, this was a while ago, and I didn't really know what they did, okay? So when I got them on the phone, I quickly learned after maybe 3 or 4 of these calls that they were kind of picking my brain. It started to feel like they were almost interrogating me, and it was almost like a feeling of, hey man, you're trying to take my job, like what are you doing? And there was one in particular that I really thought that person was the decision maker. So I started to reveal to them what I did. And pretty much the expression on everyone's face that I spoke to in business development was stunned at what we do, because we completely shatter the typical model. And if you haven't watched my video on that, you got to watch my video on that. The typical business development model is antiquated. It's really out of it's just from a time bygone days. We do something way different. We're more efficient. We have a team of people on business development. They have one person on business development typically. And so what happens is, as I was speaking to these people, it became very, very clear that they were just trying to pick my brain for more information. They felt threatened by what we did, and it didn't cross my mind until 3 or 4 conversations in. Then what happened to me was I started to pick their brain on what they were doing. And that's when I really got wind of the fact of how much of a better deal we are, frankly. And so what I found them to be doing was a very unorganized approach, be completely frank. They would spend their time, and I had asked them because they were asking me, so I asked back, hey, what do you do? They were spending time on LinkedIn, they were spending time on Google looking for leads, and I like to say it this way, they were flopping around on LinkedIn, flopping around on Google, flopping around here, flopping around there, trying to make sense of the world with not a lot of structure in place. And that was the most telling part is, okay, because we already know, there's been studies on this, you could look this up. Salespeople, when you look at really what they do on a daily basis, there's only a small fraction of what they do as being extremely efficient in terms of getting customers on the phone, getting in front of them. The rest of their time is spent in other avenues that are more administrative, research-based, and that's what I found to be the case here. And that's why when I look at their model of how they spend their time versus what we do, what they do and what they were telling me that they do, they're spending a lot of time lead generating. We finished that before we even started a campaign, and that's what really threatened them, because if you have one person trying to do the lead generation, trying to get people on the phone, do presentations, email people, follow up, all the stuff that they're expected to do, these skill sets, frankly, it can't be accomplished by one person. And that's what I started to realize as I spoke to these people, because they had been, let's say, one person in particular, let me kind of zone in on this person. She had been with the company several years, and she was still looking for leads on LinkedIn. This should have been done years ago, to get all the leads in your neck of the woods as far as the service radius goes, find all the property management contacts, all the HOA contacts. That should have been done the first month maybe, depending upon the service radius. But 3 years later, she's still looking for leads, which talks about the inefficiency of the process at large. And here's the thing that just was the icing on the cake for me. After I heard this, I really stopped talking to business development. It became my policy that if someone tried to push me onto business development, there was no point, because number one, they were my competition to some degree, but also I felt it was a waste of time, and also I don't want to give my secrets away as well. I literally heard someone tell me that I said, what kind of things do you do? They told me they were waiting for a networking event 3 months away. Okay, imagine that, someone that is one of the highest paid employees at a company, and when you pick their brain about what they're doing on a daily basis, one of the things that comes to mind is a networking event 3 months away. All right, I understand those events can be very lucrative, but it just kind of speaks to the fact that typically these people are a bit unorganized in my experience. Now, I'm just one person, done my own research. You have a different opinion, I respect that, but that's what I found to be the case. And it was only one company in over 250 that I spoke with that had something similar, not even close, but similar to the PMHOA Pro sequence, which is, of course, the particular sequence that we use to pitch property management companies, get in front of key decision makers, and ultimately build profitable relationships for a set of industries. And if you're interested in learning more about that, I'd like to see a live demo, there's a link in the description below. Thank you again for watching.